感谢大家参加今天的讲座，我是瑞。今天由我来主持，这是我们举办的复杂问题简单讲系列讲座的第4讲。第一次呢，我们讲了如何在孩子15岁的时候设立 Kids Roth IRA 来让孩子未来成为百万富翁。第二次，我们探讨了富人们购买生命保险作为退休安排背后的真实原因。那第三次呢，我们又聊了聊您退休的时候的一个神奇数字，看一下您离退休还有多少钱。我们这些讲座的录像都会在网站上给大家发布出来。那今天呢，我们来聊一下美国税率上涨的预期下，我们该如何保障你的退休金储备，避开税率上涨的雷区。在我们讲座的过程中呢，大家如果有问题的话，可以在屏幕右手边的 Q&A 对话框中输入您的问题。你也可以给别人提出的问题点赞，点赞率最高的问题在问答环节会自动排序到得到优先回答。那么想得到我们讲座 PPT 的朋友们呢，请扫描周军城市集团的2维码，并输入 PPT 3个字符，最后您就会得到这个 PPT 了。小朋友进入公众号，直接输入 PPT 即可。按照惯例，我们先来给大家介绍一下今天的2位嘉宾。Justine 周军女士，老朋友们都认识她。Justine 毕业于上海复旦大学世界经济系，随后又考取了香港中文大学全奖的 MBA。90年代初，她移居芝加哥，也是非常资深的伊利诺伊州注册会计师，是周军城市集团的创始人兼总裁。在税务、地产、保险和投资方面积累了数十年的经验，尤其擅长家庭和个人税务规划的投资理财。Justine， 你好。
谢谢你瑞，特别感谢你今天杰瑞在家里和孩子打羽毛球，忘记了我们的 webinar， 所以瑞就是 understudy 马上顶上来，谢谢你啊瑞。OK， 我也不多赘述我自己，我想大部分来听的客人都认识我，有很多是我的客人。我现在发觉其实来听的客人比新朋友还要多，我很高兴能够在这样的一个 media 上跟大家能够经常的见到面，经常的一起在探讨啊。我就讲一下，我们再赘述一下我们自己的公司吧。很多客人都会说你有多少业务啊，什么样？我们周军城市集团下面有3个分支，那会计大家知道，就基本上是小企业的一些日常的税表啊，就是还有会计的服务我们都做，记账、发工资、销售税，当然也帮助个人和企业做一些税务规划。我们事务所的特点跟其他事务所不一样呢，我们不只是给你做表格，我们更多的是为你量体裁衣，做很多的省税的策略，这是我们非常自豪的地方。那么周军保险呢，主要也是服务于中小企业和个人的所有的保险，包括企业的财产责任、员工工伤和个人的车房散行，包括健康保险和人寿保险，而且我们在15个州都有 license， 所以希望大家来找我们啊。还有一个呢，不要忘了，也是我们很重要的一个分支是城市地产，它呢是主要是帮助客户在芝加哥找到他最合适的房产投资。我的笑话一直是芝加哥的房产像一个债券，它不是一个股票，有非常稳定的租金收入，就是在像今天这样乱世的时候，芝加哥的房产就更显得有魅力特别是加上贷款和就金融杠杆和税上的省税的话呢，你的回报率很有可能会到 double digit， 所以还是很值得考虑的。我们也帮助很多的投资客人管理他们投资的房产的租赁和托管的业务。好的，我不赘述了，谢谢王瑞。
好，谢谢 Justine。我们今天还邀请了一位嘉宾 Ron Mark。Ron 是祖籍广东，不过他是 ABC， 广东话是他的母语之一。他是 Price Futures Group 的总裁，也是芝加哥投资顾问委员会 CIAC 注册的资深金融财务顾问。他在为客户量身定做投资和对冲策略，在风险把控和收益平衡，为客户制定实施完整的财富管理和退休计划方面呢，有非常丰富的经验。Ron, can you introduce yourself?
Thank you.谢谢 Ray, thank you. Hello everyone. Thank you for again having me here today. We'll be talking about another exciting topic, another exciting stuff today regarding the future of taxes. We're going to share some really interesting perspectives. So excited. So let's get started. So, Justine.
OK，
好的，那下面我们就正式开始讲座。因为我们今天讲座的主题是什么是税务定时炸弹以及如何应对。 Justin，您是有着30年经验的 CPA，您能给我们解释一下什么是税务定时炸弹吗？
可以可以，这个题目听上去比较吓人是吧？是个炸弹。我觉得我们要把题目说的吓人一点，大家才能够觉醒。为什么呢？你作为一个会计师，我在跟客人就是制定很多的这个省税的计划或者家庭的财务计划的时候，我总是把税作为一个很重要的考虑因素放在里面。所有的东西，如果你不考虑税的话呢，你最后被误导得很厉害，你也会损失你很多的财产。那么我想给大家看一个东西啊，你们首先我想问你一句话，王瑞啊。我以前在我上几个讲座中以前讲过一个，就是你的退休金最害怕的是2件事，那2件事是什么？你还记得吧？
我还真是参加了以前的讲座，应该一个是通胀，还另外一个是税务，对吧？
对的，对的，就 those two things will really erode your retirement。就是如果你不把这2个考虑进去的话，你觉得你够的钱往往是不够的。好，我们先来看第一张 PPT。我想跟大家分享一些数据，我是最相信数据的。这个表是什么呢？这个是美国过去100年的最高边际税率的历史。So it's the highest marginal tax rate。大家都知道，美国的税是递增的交的，是吧？从低到高，慢慢的升上去。你收入越高的人，那么最后就交的那个 marginal 的 tax rate。你们看一看，我们现在在哪里？王瑞，你应该知道我们现在的最高税率是多少啊？
我们现在37，
对，你看看最高的时候，这上面在哪里？
居然已经超过了90%吗？
对对对，不是每次有客人跟我讲，哎呀，这个税这么高，美国的税这么高，怎么搞的？我说等一等，要看问题要有一个 historical 的 perspective，right？ 你看一看，从历史上来看，我们的税率现在算高还是算低？王瑞？
整个来看，我觉得这现在应该是处于比较偏低的阶段啊。
对啊。而且你看，每一次上去都是为了第一次最高的时候是第2次大战之后，是吧？
对的，对的，都是有一些危机感觉。
对，就当政府没有钱的时候，他第一能够做的什么事情，一个就是印钞，一个就是征税。然后印钞引起的是什么？通货膨胀。征税引起的是什么？我们就倒霉，对不对？所以的话，我只是想，我当然我不可能做预测。所有做预测的人往往要出事情的，至少我不是那样的超人，所以我不想今天在这里跟大家说税肯定上去，这个决认你自己来。但是呢，我觉得我想给你们的是一个 historical 的一个 perspective， 一个历史上来看我们在哪里，然后你自己去想这个会从哪里走。至少我给你一个警告，你觉得呢，王瑞？
对，确实如此。现在这个税率感觉看起来以后还是有可能要上涨的。那我们现在也是处于这个历史上的税务低点。我想我们还是应该为我们退休的时候这种大概率会发生的高税率还是要做一个准备。Justin，谢谢你给大家敲响了这个警钟。
对的，对的，反正结论自己来，我只给你数字，好吧？然后我们再看下一张的 PPT， 更吓人。下一张的 PPT 呢，就是上面这个是告诉你美国现在国债是多少。我想，其实大家都知道，但是我把这个数字真的放在你的面前的话，你还是要吓一吓的，是26万个亿。我有的时候都在想啊，对吧？王瑞，你想想26万亿是怎么想 ？I don't know how to think about it. It's 26 is it 26 trillion, right? 我的眼睛不太好，那个这个对，是不是？
是的，这曲线看起来也上涨的很厉害，这明显的一个上升。
对啊，然后你看啊，这个上升也是最近的几十年的，以前其实没有这样，对吧？
对的，对的。Justin， 就最近其实也有很多朋友在讨论这个美国债务的问题，已经是天文数字了。那理论上是不就是我们现在的花费其实都是在花后代的钱？
讲得非常非常对，这个就叫 irresponsible。就像一个家庭，怎么可能入不敷出，永远都入不敷出呢？你就这样下去，这不就是把将来的钱今天先花了吗？对吧？怎么对得起我们的后代？就我也不知道，我们中国人就是为了孩子，为了孩子。你再想想看，这个是不是很吓人的一件事情？而且你接下来看他那个财政赤字，一直在往上走，对吧？这个历史就证明了，谁上台，这个我这个不讲那个政治，一讲政治大家会不高兴，特别我跟 Ron 要吵起来，对吧？但反正你就看年限吧，我们看啊，那个财政赤字什么时候是下来的，什么时候上去的，然后现在还在上去的过程中。
Justin，我完全同意你的这个看法。 理论上，美国政府应该没有太多的选择，再加上这次疫情，政府史无前例的还向企业和个人发放了很多救济嘛，所以债务我觉得肯定会再次飙升的，政府的亏空肯定也是会继续拉大。那我有一个问题要问 Ron，the economic is getting hurt a lot at the pandemic, but why the stock market is still going so strong? What's your take on this one?
That's a very good question. A lot of my clients, a lot of my friends, they ask me the same question. It's very illogical right now. This pandemic hurts a lot of different industries and businesses, from hotels to hospitality. They're saying the restaurants, there's like 65% of the restaurants may not reopen. I mean, airlines, it's crazy. But yet the stock market keeps going up. Well, not today, but the stock market
Not today.
Not today.
Today's a pause. A pause.
A pause. But I mean, since March, the market's making new highs. So this is what I believe. I believe the government is propping up this market ahead of the elections. Okay. The current administration, not politics, just does not want to let this market go down. Okay. Which tells me that we all have to be a little careful about what happens after the election, no matter who wins. All right. To quote one of Justine's clients, Justine and I talked about this. One of her clients said this, I quote, "If the tsunami is already here, you can spend a few seconds and enjoy the view, but remember, you have to run. You have to run." So I would say, you have to proceed with caution, So I watch markets every day. It doesn't make sense. We'll see what happens, right?
Yeah, thanks Ron for the insight of the market. Ron 说呢，如果海啸来了，你可以看几秒钟，也许没有机会看到的这个风景，但是一定千万别忘了要跑，要逃命。What's your view against suggesting that there will be a hit on tax in future?
Well, again, many of my clients and friends are deeply concerned, with the future of tax scenarios. Taxes going up is going to be a huge concern if and severely impact people that are going to retire into retirement plans. So, as we move forward in time, 5, 10, 20 years and beyond, the main question is this: will tax rates be higher or lower than they are today? Ray, did you know this? As of 2020, this year, 91% of every tax dollar comes into the U.S. Treasury. It only pays for 4 things. Only 4 things: Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, and then interest on the national debt. That's the truth.
Whoa, so there's only 9 cents of every tax dollar to pay for everything else.
That's
也
crazy.
就是说，那全部的税收91%都要用于社保、医疗和信息这些，那也就只有剩下的9%是可以用其他支出的啊，这个太令人难以置信了。
Yeah, it's scary.
Yeah.
Don't believe me? Look it up. 91% is crazy.
And we're not even paying back the principal.
It's crazy. So here's, they call it the unfunded liabilities. All right. So here are some of the other unfunded liabilities that, our U.S. government is going to have to figure out how to get money, probably raise taxes to fund it. So Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, Department of Defense, right? We're always going to have to build the military and defend ourselves. Parks, roads and infrastructure, which, we always use the parks, roads and infrastructure. Prescription drug programs for seniors. Pensions. Don't forget that the government has various pensions for all the different government workers. And then most recently, look at this. COVID. Unfortunately, COVID hit. The COVID stimulus that came, the packages that came for release, which was needed. But one day, you guys, there's going to be a COVID credit card bill. Someone has to pay it.
Yeah.
Right? Someone's gonna have to pay it.
I like that analogy. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's true. Come on, when you hear it, which I support. We need relief for small business owners, for people that need money. I get it. But
yeah, we need it. We need it ourselves. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But someone needs to pay that bill. The COVID bill is gonna come. right? So, and there's much, much more. The list goes on and on. I can list it all night, but this is just the simple stuff that you have to think about. So, Ray,
Wow.
that's, you know.
Yeah, well, I didn't realize this. That's very scary. Yeah.
So, so really cool. I want to share with everyone in the audience today, which is one of the core of our webinar tonight. Ray, there's a great book out there. It's called The
Okay.
Power of Zero, and it's by David McKnight. It's a bestseller. And in this book, David highlights what he calls the incoming tax freight train, that's going to hit us really hard. Right? He makes a great case to understand what's coming at us and learn how to protect yourself as best as possible for retirement. He also really produced a motion picture. It's a documentary, same name. It's called The Power of Zero, and it's available on Amazon and YouTube. Very eye-opening, you guys. I highly recommend everyone in the audience to go and watch it. It's like $1.99. Watch it. He makes a very, very good case, Ray. Very good case.
Okay. Thank you, Ron. 朋友们看，记住一下，这个书名是《Power of Zero》，作者是 David McKnight。还有他也做了一些纪录片的 video，有兴趣的朋友们也建议去看一下这本书，或者是搜一下他的影片。Ron, can you future explain how this is gonna affect our retirement plan?
Yeah. So, Ray, so here's what Forbes magazine had to say about taxing the rich as a means of like solving our national funding crisis. Everyone knows there's a funding crisis, okay? So I quote Forbes magazine, "The problem is that there are not enough high-income earners to satisfy today's debt and deficits. So middle-income America will soon be in the scope of congressional rifles because, the poor, you can't tax them. They have nothing to tax. So the middle class is going to be forced to pay for it all of it."
Yeah，Ron 也是帮我们引述了一下这个福布斯杂志的一个结论啊，这里面就是高收入的人群的税收呢，实际上已经没办法满足政府的这个债务和赤字了，所以呢，我们只能指望一些中产阶级来做贡献。当然了，这个世界上每个国家的中产阶级都是最可怜的一些人。So Ron, you mentioned that the middle class would be the first to be heavily hit, right?
Yeah. So realize this. Another good perspective is in 2008, the Federal Budget Office, the CBO, was asked to project how high tax rates would have to go to keep paying for Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid. Okay. And this is what they said. I quote, "If Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid go unchanged, okay, check this out. The tax rate for the lowest tax bracket would increase from 10% to 25%. The tax rate on incomes in the current 25% tax bracket, so if your tax bracket is currently 25%, it's going to be increased to 63%. And then the tax rate for the highest bracket, which, the highest income earners, it's going to be raised from 35% to 88%. 88%. I mean, Ray.
Wow, yeah. Thank you, Ron. Thank you, Ron. Ron 又帮我们引述了一个前联邦首席预算官的话，那么就是我们以后呢，不论是穷人还是富人还是中产，也就是说，不管是哪个税阶吧，在未来你的税收都会增加大约到150%，真的是狼来了。Thank you, Ron.
No, it's crazy. And last thing before we move on. Here's a quote from David Walker. David Walker was the Comptroller General of the federal government from 1997 to 2008 under President Bush and President Clinton. Doesn't matter what party you're at. This is what he said. I quote, "Regardless of what politicians tell you, any additional accumulations of debt are basically deferred tax increases, right? Unless we begin to get our fiscal house in order, there's simply no other way to handle the ever-mounting debt burdens, except," this is what he said, "except by doubling taxes over time." Doubling taxes. So this is what the message that we need to share tonight. And this is what the book says and the movie says. It's Ray, it's crazy. Justine, it's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you, Ron. Thank you for your sharing.
Yeah.
Ron 今天通过这几个不同的权威的意见，其实我们也能看到他们有一个共同的特征，也揭示了一个我们可能最不希望看到的一个未来。那不断升级的债务和赤字导致的税收上升，而税收上升过程中呢，中产阶级很可能又是首当其冲的，也最有可能是最深受其害的。Justine，讲到这里的话，我有一个问题想要问你。那如果上面提到的这种趋势能够成真的话，那是否意味着我现在喜欢存钱、爱存钱，那到未来会受到某种惩罚呢？
是啊，文瑞你讲的很好啊，我看来 Ron 跟我的看法在税上面是差不多，我们都觉得税率应该是一个往上涨的一个情况啊。我们中国人都喜欢存钱，我们也喜欢投资。像现在这样的情况呢，我不是说你不要去投资，不是说你不要去存钱，而是怎么样去 tax savvy 的存钱和投资，把税考虑进去了，把将来有可能的坏情况给 eliminate 掉。怎么做呢？我今天很想跟大家举一个例子来讲，我一直都很喜欢举例子，我所有的 webinar 都喜欢举例子，因为我觉得数字和例子是最能够说明一个道理的，比你讲1000句话都更加有力。我想告诉大家的是什么呢？我想通过一个实例来告诉你，如果你的收入高到了一定程度以后，你做的所有的这些税前的投资，就是 tax deferred 这些 investment， 就是你今天省税，但是年纪大了要交税的这些呢，可能比如最简单的、最 typical 的就是401k， 对吧？可能并不是一个最好的投资的一个 vehicle， 特别是在将来税会上升的情况下。
哦，是这样吗 ，Justine？因为我其实一直以来以为都是首先要做的是401k，先把它交满，所以我还以为它会是最好的一个投资工具，因为我们今天至少是可以把税省掉嘛。
对的，你讲的是对的，而且呢，对很多客人来讲，这个可能还是一个真理，但当你的收入到了一定的程度以后呢，这个不再是一个真理。而且我用实际的数字来给你说一下你还记得吗，王瑞？你听过我的讲座，就是在美国这个要拿 Social Security 的话，是几岁才可以拿到全部的 Social Security？ 你记得吗？
哦，我记得您提到过，应该是像100%都拿到这个社会福利的话，应该是要到67岁。如果说62岁我们就退休就想拿的话，可能只能拿到大概70%左右。当然，如果再晚一点拿，比如说等到70岁的话，那可能我们就会拿得更多，能有130左右，是这样吧？
哇，王瑞得满分哦！我给大家准备了一个图，因为这个也是有很多客人问我，他说有点混乱如果我们可以看一下下一张的 PPT 的话，大部分人就是67岁，但是如果在座的有在1960年之前生的话，你有可能是66岁、66岁半、66岁几个月，但大部分人是67岁。所以的话呢，我们的假设是这样的，我们假设一对夫妇叫 Frank 和 Lena。那么他们呢，就是很典型的中国人，非常好，30岁开始就开始存那个401k 了，他每个月存500块钱存到他退休，那他要等到退休是67岁，那么就存了37年，那37年里他存了20多万，我们用市场平均年均的这个回报率6%来算，还是比较保守一点吧。尽管过去的30年可能是超过6%的，应该有9%左右。如果用6%来算的话，他在的退休账号里，到那个时候401k 里就会有80多万，这个听上去还是蛮棒的，是吧，王瑞？
对的。但是我知道，我猜想这应该就是你说的一直强调的这个复利带来的好处。
对，就是我们第一个讲座说，为什么小孩子越早开始做这些 Roth IRA 越是好。所以对你每个月放500块钱，放37年就会有80多万。然后我们别忘了还有 Lena， 那 Lena 也是同时工作的，一般我们现在双职工的家庭比较多，她也是这么存的，一个月存500块钱。那他们俩到退休的时候就会有1.6个million，160万在401k 里，听上去很好。而且还有一个好处就是它可以省税， 对吧？还可以省税呢，是不是？它的税率的话，他们如果收入在20万左右的话，税率应该是差不多24%。那如果是24%的税率的话，他们每年省的税就有2880，然后37年还省了10几万的税，到现在为止听上去都是很好，是吧，王瑞？
对又能攒到了钱，然后又有省了税，这不是很好？
OK， 好，我们来看一下他到年纪大的时候拿这个钱的时候要交多少税，这个就是坏消息了。OK， 他401k 呢是这样拿的，他那个时候有160万，他们呢觉得他们的这个 life expectancy 可能是30年，可以活到97岁，因为现在的人已经87岁，你总是要留一段时间，当然多出来还是可以留给孩子嘛，对吧？如果你是按照30年拿的话呢，你基本上一年可以拿到11万多，一个月拿到1万左右，还是蛮好的。然后你整个30年都拿到的话，可以拿到3点几个 million 哦，是不是？我的眼睛不好，3.4个 million 是吧
？3.4
当然
个 million。
对，我们还是按照6%的年化率来算的啊。怎么样？讲到这里都是好消息是吧？
对，那坏消息是什么？是要交税吗？
当然是要交税了。好的，我们来看一下啊，因为他们肯定不只有这个401k，还会有什么收入？王瑞，你想想看。
Social Security 啊，我们刚才讨论过的。
Yes， 他们这样的收入的话，基本上很容易的，就是一个人一年可以拿3万的 Social Security， 那加上去就是6万，对吧？
这不是
我们看你说
对更好吗？就是相当于好事成双，更上一层楼。
对，好，坏消息开始来了啊，准备好，坏消息来了，我们看下一页。所以的话，他401拿出来是11万5左右。然后因为这个401，你的 Social Security is taxable， 85% of it， 所以你拿6万的话，有5万1要交税。看啊，然后呢，我们也假设了一下，它还有一个 standard deduction， 因为每年都有 standard deduction，right？ 这个应该不是我吧 ？OK， 那么他要交的税，按照今天的税率，我们刚才已经说了，税率会上去，但我们还是保守，就是按今天的税率算的话。他也是要交2万1左右的税，然后30年下来，你看交多少税？60税。
那比我们刚才算的还要高，好像。
是啊，怎么样？
对，那如果是没有401k 的话，那他们这个社保 Social Security 就不用交税了吗？
是的，在这个 case 上，如果他们能够很聪明的把他们所有的 retirement 的 distribution 都是做成不要交税的话，他们只有这个6万块的 Social Security 的话，是不需要交1分税的。Social Security tax 是比较复杂的，它是根据你的整个的收入，你收入越高，最多的也就是 tax 到 85%。我有很多年纪大的客人都很不高兴，他说我一辈子在交 Social Security， 怎么我拿的时候还要交税？这个不是扯淡，对吧？
对啊，
okay，
对啊，那我们这么多年看起来是省了10万的税，然后结果到头来还是要用钱的时候，就因为这个基数大了，反而要交这个60万的税。
对啊
Justine， 我这里面有一个问题，因为这个两个的时间不同嘛，所以我们是不是要按照 future value 来算呢？
对，王瑞，你很仔细。这个 time value of the money is very, very important, right? Today's money is worth much more than tomorrow's money. 好，我们下一张图就跟大家解释一下啊。如果我们用3%的通货膨胀率来算，这个也是美国过去的10年、20年的一个比较平均的一个通货膨胀率。那么，如果我们站在哪一天呢？就站在 Frank 和 Lena 退休的那一天，就在他们67岁的那一天来看。那么他们前面37年就是说省了10万块的税。这个10万块的税其实用在他们67岁那一天来看，这个钱其实要值到差不多20万。这个就叫 future value of the cash flow of the past cash flow, right? Cash flow。然后同时呢，又站在同时这一点，他们要在将来的30年要交65万5的税，但是因为这是将来要交的，所以这个要 discounted into present value， 对不对？那么就是经过了 discount 的，它还是有42万。所以我们就是说，是苹果比苹果，你的税还是多交了超过1倍，看到没有？
对，即使是用这个未来价值，看起来还是要多付税呢。
是的，而且你不能忘了，我们今天讲到现在讲的是什么？前面
税率上涨。
对，我说了我不会预测，但如果税率上涨的话，这里的差别是不是会更大？我已经用一个最保守的，跟现在一样的税率算出来，你都会 double。当然，这里还有一个变根数，就是他的收入，你知道，收入更是高的人，这个就交的更多，收入少的人会少交，所以这里面你要算一算。所以的话，我说就是说，税务规划一定要量体裁衣，你要跟你的会计师讲，然后要算一算你是怎么一个情况，对不对？
对，这个数字看起来确实还是挺令人吃惊的。也就是说，收入越高，存的越多，最后税交的也越多。 那多的含义呢，不仅仅是因为咱们这个基数增大了，也会因为由于以后导致的税务级别更高来产生。Justine，我想到一个相关的问题，假设 Frank和 Lena 用不完这个 401k 里面的钱的话，他们会传给子女，那会怎么样呢？
哎，很好，你知道我们中国人很好的问题啊，王瑞，中国人都是希望自己的孩子比自己更能干，是吧？这叫专门有一句话的，叫青出于蓝胜于蓝，对吧？好了，如果你的孩子是一个 doctor， 或者是一个什么特别是个 specialty doctor， 那他的收入会受了你的，就是比如当他们过世的时候，把这个给孩子的话，孩子的税率比他们还要高，是不是很悲催？他们要交税的，因为你这个税没有交过 ，Uncle Sam 是不会讨饶的，这个是 untaxed money。
是，没错没错。这么看来，算下来，对，这样看下来，401k 确实也不能算作一个最佳的投资工具啊，尤其是对于收入比较高的人，这个潜在的税务风险确实还是挺高的。我们真的是可以把它叫做税务炸弹。Justine，你在这方面因为是绝对的税务专家，那你有什么建议我们可以避免吗？
谢谢王瑞给我把我捧得这么高，我就说这个现在这个 slide 就是那个炸弹啊。而且大家朋友们记住，这个人我们做的是20万左右的收入，如果呢他是在40万左右的收入还要吓人。还有一个什么呢，就是他如果是在10万以下的呢， 401k 还是蛮好的，在10万和20万之间就要开始算了。还有一个非常非常重要的，我现在有很多客人人到中年发觉他 401k 已经有很多很多的钱，你也可以慢慢的把它 convert， 有很多的方式，所以的话呢就多跟你的会计，希望你到我们这里来咨询，可以告诉你们怎么把这个事情做好。但是呢从 general 来讲还是有很多办法的。我刚才不是说 tax deferred interest instrument， 如果你收入很高的话，这会是一个大的问题将来。但是还有一个更好的，一个叫 tax free 的 investment， 什么意思呢？就是你今天把税交了，然后你再也不用交税，所有的增值部分都不用交税。这就是为什么我们这个讲座的第一场就讲的 Roth IRA， 对不对？ Roth IRA 拿出来的时候就是不需要交税的。这里我也给大家列了 tax deferred 有很多很多啊，我不去赘述了啊。然后呢 tax free 的呢也很多很多，比如有 Roth IRA 我们讲过，还有如果你收入很高的人可以做 backdoor Roth IRA， 还是一定要做，不能退却啊。还有就是 Roth 的 401k， 因为 401k 里面有一点大家要记住，就是如果你不放钱，你的雇主不给你放钱的话，这个你一定得放，你这个不放就是 you kiss money goodbye on the table， right？ 你肯定要放，但你可以把它放成 Roth if you have the choice， right？ 现在还有一些收入特别高的客人特别是我们的那些什么在这种 tech company 工作的都有这个叫 MAGA Roth MAGA backdoor Roth conversion， 这个就更复杂了。你们呢公司如果有这个福利的话，这是公司比较幸运的人才有这些啊，不是每个人都有。如果你有的话，你有任何问题的话也可以来找我们咨询，因为我们很多客人都有这些情况。当然还有一个经常被忽略的 HSA， 就是 Health Savings Account，每个家庭可以放7000，每个人可以放3500，不要因为它很少你就小看它，它是一个唯一一个 Uncle Sam 从来不拿税，你是税前进去税前出来，你就从来不交税的，大家一定也要注意了。还有一个呢就是529的计划啊，529计划的话呢也是一个很多人就觉得我们州不给我任何好处我就不做了，还是要做。还有很多人说哎呀我小时候我孩子到时候可以去拿那个资助啊什么，政府都已经到这个地步了，你们就想一想将来还会有多少资助给你们啊。还有的很多客人的收入都在10万20万，还在想我去拿资助，应该是没有什么可能的吧？你觉得呢，王瑞？听到我讲了好多。
对是的，我之前可能大家都还没有意识到咱们还有这么多的 Roth 可以存，但我记得您之前在 webinar 里面也讲过嘛，每个人都应该要最大化自己的这个 Roth IRA 里面的投入，不管是 friend-dog 还是 backdog。 但是我想大家都比较关心的是Roth IRA 的存款的 limit 是比较低的，应该是6000一个人每年。
对，年纪大了50岁以上是7000，讲得很对。王瑞你都可以去接下来下个讲座你做了啊。
但我知道这个 Roth 是免税的，相信大家也都比较了解了，但这个7702可能很多朋友还是不太确定的，那你能不能给大家解释一下呢？
7702呢，也就是一个就是 IS 的 code， 就像529一样。529是什么？就是 Section 529。那么7702呢，就是 Section 7702。可以给大家看一下下一张 slide， 7702到底是什么？因为我知道有很多人在外面也在说这些东西，就是7702，它的确是一个非常 powerful 的 instrument。所以的话呢，这也是刚才我列的所有的 tax free 的，就是如果你的收入很高，你已经 exhaust 所有这些东西的话，你还有更多的钱要去投资，那么这是一个完全可以考虑的一个很好的一个工具，它是 tax free 的 growth。什么意思呢？这个整个的一段，我以前一直说笑话，就是 IS 的 rule 是写给人家睡不着觉的人看了就睡着了，因为它绕的厉害，它前后的绕。反正我这方放的，你们要 PPT 的朋友也可以去看这个。它的整个的意思呢，就是你可以把一个人寿保险策划的或者规划的到一个地步呢，就是里面所有的增值都不用交税。但这是一个非常 complicated， 也是一个非常 intricate 的一个 instrument， 用错的话还是要交税的。所以它这里面有讲到 non-Mac， 就是说你怎么讲呢？其实它就是一个 tax shelter， right？ 一个避税的天堂。那么在这个避税天堂，你一定要注意好了所有的规则。你没有注意好规则，这个天堂最后就变成地狱。OK， 我喜欢说笑话。OK， 好的。Ron， I know that you are the 7702 expert here, right? Can you elaborate a little bit more on this tax code? You are muted, Ron. Okay, where is Ron?
Ron is muted.
Hello.
Wait.
Yeah,
Hello. Are you drinking?
No.
I'm just kidding.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you, but you have like a frozen moment right there.
Oh, sorry. No, my dog was barking. I didn't want to interrupt you guys. My dog was barking, so I hit mute. That's what's going on. So okay. Yes, Section 7702 of the U.S. IRS Code. This is one of the big things. It's a big thing for a lot of the wealthy families that I consult with, at the Board of Trade. So basically, it defines what the federal government considers to be a legitimate life insurance contract. Okay, and it's used to determine how the proceeds are taxed. So the proceeds from a genuine life insurance contracts are tax advantaged, generally tax-free. So basically, when you take an investment, whatever that investment is, and you bolt it into like a chassis of like a vehicle, which is insurance, it becomes very tax advantaged. And that's the key to 7702. So, here, Justine, Ray, here I want to introduce the concept of proper retirement distribution planning, okay, with the goal of getting close to zero tax in retirement. And I know, Justine, you're an accountant. Zero tax is like unheard of. But,
that's called haven. That's called tax haven.
Well, retirement distribution planning, okay, it's accumulating the right amount of money in the right types of account in order to maximize cash flow, tax-free cash flow in retirement. So, Justine, Ray, wouldn't it be great if you can shift your assets to receive tax-free income, and then ideally have your RMD, your required minimum distributions from your tax-deferred accounts equal close to your standard deduction, Justine?
Yes,
that sounds wonderful, Ron.
Wouldn't it be great? So this is what the book, The Power of Zero, is all about. It's how to get to zero taxes for retirement. So that's the powerful thing. This is what the message is here tonight. So,
Ron 讲的呢，其实是鸡蛋放在多个篮子里面的一个道理啊。因此，就是在这个前提下，追求最后到手的现金要最大化，讲的是交税而不交税。那在税率增长的预期下呢，其实这个规划是显得尤为有意义的。Thank you, Ron.
So one of the vehicles, okay, that we use, that we advise with in the tax-free, tax-advantaged bucket, okay, is what we discussed in our last webinar, which is what they call the IUL or the LIRP, which is, the Index Universal Life Policy or the Life Insurance Retirement Plan. Okay, this is where we take an insurance policy And it's not for death benefit, but we customize it for tax-free growth. Okay, and it also protects like the principal from any downside market risk. And that is the structure that a lot of our clients use for wealth accumulation. So let's look at an example.
That's great. I like the example.
So I mean, let's use Justine's example. And you guys were talking about our friends Frank and Lena. We're putting $500,000 into a 401k. Let's say that they put the same amount of money, $500,000 into an IUL.
No, it's $500 a month, Ron, not 500,000.
What did I just say?
500,000.
Oh, sorry. I was thinking about one of your clients, Justine. That
okay.
Yes, no. So
okay.
$500 a month into an IUL. Okay, let's compare it. Okay, so they put $500 a month. And again, here's the key. Everyone has a negative connotation of life insurance, which I think is wrong. Okay. But there's certain policies that you have to understand that if you can customize it and gear it specifically designed for tax-free growth. Okay. The first slides here is Frank. As you can see, Frank is putting in $500 a month, $6,000 a year. Okay. Again, illustrations are different for men and women because unfortunately, women they live longer than men.
Because we take care of ourselves. We go to doctors. You don't.
I think so. Or men, we have too much ego. We drink too much, we eat too much. So it's different for men and women. So as you can see, Frank and Lena are both putting in $500 a month, which is $6,000 a year. Combined total that they can start to pull out at the age of 67 is about $150,000. Okay. And, what you're going to see that, remember that with the IULs, there are no contribution limits and there are no age restrictions when you can withdraw your money. So, they can withdraw $150,000 every year for pretty much the rest of their lives tax-free. So when you want to sit down and compare that to the 401k and its taxes, this is one of the strategies that, that a lot of wealthy families use. And not even talking about the living benefits if they need long-term care or if there's, obviously there's always a death benefit to pass on to their children and to heirs, but all very, very positive. This is why we call this the big boy Roth or what we call the supercharged Roth. Again, I've been at the board of trade, as you know, Justine, for the last 30 years. Many wealthy families, this is how they continue to grow their family's wealth, above and beyond. So this is
I know you are the wonder boy in the board of trade.
I'm not the wonder boy. I'm like little boy. But being a little boy, I get to see a lot of things that's going on that's traditional, that I never learned, right? So this is what I want to share.
Yeah, okay. Thank you, Ron. Ron 刚才呢也帮我们做了2个解释对比的案例。那在这个案例当中呢，也是按照一个男生一个女生的样子呢，给我们做每个月放500块钱，在这个指数万能险当中会有什么样的不同？当然从比较中也能看出来啊，这假设这个2种账户投资是一样的，那么他们到最后能够收入到的钱是178万。那么在他最后能收到，他
不是吧？应该是这样的，我觉得是主要是2个，尽管是收益率我们都用的都是一样，是6%，是吧？但是你看到他最后拿出来钱差的很多啊，这里唯一的区别就是一个税，不是一个投在哪里的问题，而是对吧？就不是说你投了 Apple 的股票，我投了 Google 的股票，不是这个原因，完全是因为
交税和不交税。
对，
okay. 谢谢。Okay, Ron. How have IULs performed in the past?
Well, Ray, let's take a look. Let's pull up the next chart. Compared to the S&P returns over time. The red is the S&P. The blue is a IUL. As you can see, during down years like 2002, where the market was down, S&P was down 23%. And in 2008 was down 38%. IULs lost 0. So this is the key concept. So there's guaranteed principal, guaranteed no loss. So those are very, very key. So there's no loss to these contracts. and in up years like 2012, where the market returned, S&P returned 13%, IEOs returned 12. In a year that's spectacular, like 2013, S&P's returned very strong, 29%. IEOs returned 12. Okay, so the key concept here is no loss provisions. It stair steps and keeps going up. You don't give back your gains. And in the next slide, if you pull the next slide, these are actual credits. Everyone always asks me, Ron, I've heard really negative connotations about life insurance. Listen, I've been in the trading business, in the financial business for 30 years. I've heard the same thing, negative connotation about life insurance. I did the same thing. You hear the term, buy term insurance and invest the rest. But who does that, right? There's certain life insurance policies that I had to research that actually give very, very positive benefits, that not for investing and not for trading, but for retirement. So you look at this thing. A lot of people ask, okay, I got this illustration from a guy that's telling me this is what the potential credits are at, but these are actual credits. Look at this. So on the next, here you see the actual credits from the past. 2008, 2009, which were down years in the stock market, you returned 0. 2012, 2013, 2014, you're hitting 14% returns in these targets. Okay, so I came from the same space. A lot of people were like negative life insurance, but no, you have to do the research. There are really positive life insurance policies that add to a retirement planning, especially in what we're talking about today, the theme of the big tax freight train coming. Remember, all the gains because of the tax code 7702, if it's locked into an insurance policy, those gains are tax-free. So that is why it is a superior strategy to include into retirement plan. Not all your eggs in this basket, but to include it. So that's Ray, Justine, this is what we preach and what we talk about.
Yeah, that's very interesting, Ron. 那我就知道为什么很多家庭最后都会选择了这个 IUL 作为自己的一个家庭理财的计划了。
对啊，瑞，你讲的很对尽管我是会计，我是跟每个客人都说要做401k啊，要做 Roth 啊，是要做的。但是呢，就是说所有的东西都要考虑，不能老是就觉得这个是个坏东西，我就不考虑。我们可以在最后看一张，我做了一个比较，就是如果你当初是把同样的钱放在401k traditional 401k， 还有一个呢就是放在那个 IUL 里面，你们看这差别很大，到年纪大的时候，你每年可以拿出来的钱差很多。为什么刚才的11万5现在变成9万3了呢？是因为要交税，所以到你手里只有9万3 OK， 但是呢那个 IUL 你可以拿15万3，这个差别是不是很大，王瑞？
对，我看一下，这基本上差了有6万块。对，还是很
不得了的事情啊。对，而且是每一年啊，如果你活了30年的话，这个是多少
这确实差距真的是很大。
对，
没错。
所以的话呢，我是会计，我当然也做保险，就是我为什么会做保险的原因，我很相信保险，我自己也有很多保险，不同的保险，我的孩子也都买了很多这样的保险，而且我一直说的，就给孩子买保险是非常好的。为什么呢？我从来没有想过给我孩子买保险去付那个教育，可是不可能的，我的教育都是做的529。我给我孩子买保险是一个什么呢？教育他们一个 financial 的 knowledge。等到他们21岁的时候，当我把保单给他们的时候，他们一看，哇，里面有5万、10万的现金价值。妈妈，你当初放了多少钱？哇，真的是这样的。那么他们也会买。还有一个呢，现在的孩子就是说，其实也没什么。我大女儿有忧郁症，对吧？那她就再也买不到人寿保险了，但至少她就有一份了。她在小的时候我已经给她买好了，她就对吧？她的孩子就有保障了。所以我觉得。你们听到没有？这个保险有很多其他东西，当然今天我们主要讲税，但保险有太多其他的生前利益啊。还有吧，还有2点我想说的，让没有讲到的。我们刚才的假设是 Frank 跟 Lena 活到97岁，对吧？大家还记得30年。那他活到101岁怎么办，王瑞？
如果是401k 的话，应该就没有钱了吧？他可能只有
对啊，就用完了，按照我们的计划，对不对？
对。
但是如果是人寿保险的话，现在所有的人寿保险都放到120岁，但你活到120岁之上也没有问题，因为他在120岁的时候会把你的整个的 death benefit 就是在生前就给你了。 所以你永远都用不完这个钱。所以这个就是我们美国人喜欢讲的 ，you never outlive your money。其实到了年纪大了，最担心的是 outlive your money，right？
没错。
还有一种情况，就刚才你问我的问题，如果 Franklin 呢没有活到30年，他们只活了20年，或者一个活了10年，一个活了15年，那剩下来的钱呢，给了孩子，孩子还要交税。如果孩子很出色、很优秀的话，税还交的更多。你前面省的税跟这个比，简直不能比。但如果是人寿保险的话呢，他就拿到了所有的这些钱，都不需要交所得税 ，income tax free because of 7702，是不是很 powerful？
对，这样对比起来，这个人寿保险还是优势非常明显，这确实是，难怪很多美国富豪的家庭都选择这个方式。
对，其实就是任何一个东西都有它的一个 place， 就是永远不要用一种非常极端的东西来看，好像人寿保险就是，那你只要有一份人寿保险，其他什么都不要，我绝对不赞同这个看法。但它一定是你的整个的 financial plan 里面的一个部分，这个部分是占多少，由你自己来决定。每个人的爱好、偏好、preference、risk tolerance 都是完全不一样的，是吧？
没错 ，Justine。也谢谢 Justine 和 Ron 今天给我们总结了和分享了这么多的知识点。后面我想大概很多朋友对这个知识点可能有一些比较多啊，我帮大家来总结一下。那首先呢，第一点就是我们所有的投资都应该考虑一下潜在的税务影响，因为储蓄类的账户嘛，通常投资期也比较长，那大家很容易忽视这个多年以后的税务的影响。比如说我们刚才提到的税阶增加，它不仅可能会非常显著的影响你退休后的净收入，而且也可能会捆绑你的其他收入，让你交更多的税。第二点呢，我想是纳税后的这个储蓄性投资，那相比推迟纳税的储蓄性投资账户会更好，因为它其实不需要受到未来税务炸弹的这个影响。第三点呢，刚才 Ron 和 Justine 也帮我们介绍了一个新的办法，就是指数万能险呢，它是一个非常好的避税的投资工具，因为你不仅可以享有通常意义上的投资回报，而且还有一些衍生的好处。尤其是对于年老退休的人而说啊，你这个比如说你的死亡补偿以及这个长期的重病的需要照顾的费用等等，那这些好处也是显而易见的。
哇，瑞，你总结的太好了，把我们1个半小时，没有1个半小时，我们讲了1个小时吧，用5分钟讲完。
那我们可能后面
厉害，
对我们后面还是要跟大家再来互动一下，当然也
Yeah, I said Ron did I said Ray did a really good summary. But why is your face frozen, Ron?
My face is frozen still?
Yeah.
Is it?
You have a really beautiful smile.
But frozen? It doesn't look frozen to me here.
Oh, really? Maybe it's my problem. Don't worry. You have a beautiful smile.
Ray, can you see my head move? Is my head frozen?
Yeah, I can see.
Oh, okay. So it's my problem. I see a beautiful smile of Ron.
It's because Justine, you are in your compound in like 10 hours away in the middle of nowhere.
Compound. I mean the compound. Good job.
In the compound. Yeah. The Hamptons.
The Hamptons. Okay. I wish.
好的，那咱们再拉回来啊，因为刚才也分享了很多的这个税务的知识点。那如果有进一步的问题呢，我们也可以把 Justine 和 Ron 的联系方式给大家放在屏幕上。那大家呢可以点击直接预约 Justine 和 Ron 的咨询时间。那想侧重探讨税务投资的呢，也可以建议约 Justine。那么想用英文进行咨询的呢，我们就建议约 Ron。他们也特地会为我们在座的所有朋友们提供1个半小时的免费的咨询。那再次提醒一下，想拿到我们讲座 PPT 的新朋友，请扫描周军城市集团的我们的微信的公众号，并且输入 PPT 的字符，那么您就会自动得到这个 PPT 了。老朋友可以进入我们的公众号之后，直接输入 PPT 即可。因为我们时间的关系，今天就不再多赘述了。那我们下面还是跟大家互动一下，因为我看到有很多问题，我们就进入 Q&A 的环节。
Okay, Ron, I think the first question is for you.
Which one's the first question? I'm looking
Come
at it
on,
right
just
now.
look at the Q&A published.
I am. I'm here. Is it from Vivian? Is that the first one?
Yeah.
Okay, it has to come with a cost, right? Vivian McMillan asks. Hello, Vivian. We must be paying a premium for life insurance. What is the return net of the premium paid? Well, Vivian, absolutely yes. No crazy. there absolutely is going to be a premium that you have to pay for life insurance. But if you work with someone that knows what he's doing, that they're going to figure out how to actually gear down the cost of the life insurance to bare minimum, and then actually make sure that the capital that goes into the account is going to be geared for tax-free growth. So, I mean, what is the return net of the premium paid? It depends on what we're putting in and what kind of indexing we're using. So I can't give you like a straight answer of like, this is this or this is that, but reach out to me. I can give you different illustrations. We can calculate it. I can show you full transparency. Hey, listen, again, I'm from the trading world. I'm from again, I've been at the board of trade for 30 years. I never loved life insurance. When I heard life insurance, I'm like, man, I don't like it. But as I actually learned about how other families are using it for certain financial planning, I love it. I love it. So, yeah, absolutely. There's a cost to the insurance, but overall, if I can show you a way where you can generate tax-free income later in life, the end result is what we're looking for. So, again,
I want to chime in. Yeah, I want to chime in a little bit,
Sure.
Ron. So there is cost, and there are two kinds of cost. One is cost of insurance, which I don't think you're losing anything from it. You're getting the benefit of a death benefit, right? So that's what you pay. So that's fair and square. And there's always another fee. The insurance company is not going to do this for free, right? Otherwise, they're not going to be here. And the insurance companies are the richest companies in the world, right? Yes, insurance company is making a little bit of money from you, but compared to the tax you save, it's a drop in the bucket, right, Ron?
You're the accountant, Justine. This is what I,
That's what I say. That's what I say. Yeah. You have to 不要去捡了芝麻丢了西瓜，老担心那个小小2颗芝麻，它给你带来的是一个西瓜。Okay, sorry, I don't know how to say that in English, so.
It's okay. So, Vivian, any questions, reach out to me. I will help you and give you full transparency of why I do it for my family. So,
okay, next question is for me. Can you do all three? No, absolutely not. So, on the Roth IRA or backdoor Roth IRA, you can only do once. So, the people who have make too much money, then you do backdoor. I think for a single person is around 120,000. For a couple is about, they change a little bit every year, like over 200,000. Then you have to do backdoor. So Roth IRA and the backdoor Roth IRA is one thing. It's one concept. Just one is doing a front door, one is doing a back door. So it's 6,000 for people who are under 50. If you are over 50, then you can put 7,000 a year. As far as Roth 401k is concerned, if you're lucky enough that your job offers a 401k and give you a Roth option, you can put up to 19,500 a year. That's a lot. And for people who are 50 and over, today is the only day I feel 50 and over is good. Because I can put in more money. I can put in 26,000 if I'm 50 and over Roth 401k. Okay, I hope I answered your question square and clear, Holly. Our next question is yours, right, Ron?
how about TIA Craft versus Fidelity? Hi, Sun. Hey, hi. TIA Craft is generally like one of the standards of retirement plans or retirement portfolios for government entities and 403Bs. Are you asking me which one's better? I think the answer to that question is really delving down to what your risk profile is and what your age is and how. Again, this is all retirement. This is not trading. This is not investments. This is how soon or how far are you out to retirement? And, you would have to really look at TIA Craft and Fidelity to look at what their offerings are and what, more importantly, this is what I can share with you. What are the fees? Our group here, when we look at our clients' 401ks and what their offerings are, whether it be TIA Craft, Fidelity, American funds, we actually drill down really deep and say, okay, let's figure out what gives you the best exposure to your risk profile, to your timeline of when you're going to retire, and figure out what's the best investments from there. So I would say this, Hi Young Sun, if you want to have me drill down on what your options are and what your retirement plans, your 401k plans, reach out to me. And I can help you do that. We have a very simple process of really determining what those investments are for you.
Okay, next one is mine. Holly, 你问好多问题啊，挺好的。那个你说每个人有1000万的免税遗产税，为什么要交税？我觉得你这个问题的意思就是说，我刚才说的，你如果 401k Frank 和 Lena 的 401k 没有用完，留给孩子的话，是要交税的，对吧？这里呢，你有一个比较 common 的一个 mistake， 就是说遗产税跟所得税是2种税种，就像有销售税，对吧？这些都是不同的税种。我刚才讲的这个 401k 的里面的钱是从来没有交过所得税，因为我当初放进去就没有交过税，增值的时候也没有交税。我如果死了，剩下来的钱，我的孩子是要交所得税的。他是不是要交遗产税，这是另外一个问题，要看我留下来有没有1000万。当然没有1000万是没有遗产税的，你这句话是对的。但是所得税是免不了了，因为那一个锅子里面的钱从来没有交过所得税，所以政府是不会让你就是放过你这一关的。特别是孩子如果税阶更高的话，是很悲惨的。我有碰到过这样的客人。好，Lisa 的话我已经说了，那个 401k 的话你可以放在哪里 ？I'm answer that question. They're asking me where to put this 401k. Just put into Roth 401k， 或者就是买一个 IUL 都是可以的，我刚才已经说过，所以你在提这个问题的时候，可能我还没有讲到这一点，是吧 ，Lisa？ 你因为看到那个炸弹吓死了，对。但是同时我还是要说一句话，这不是税务的 advice， 绝对不是一刀切。如果呢，就是在座的有的客人，如果你的收入是5万块钱左右的话 ，401k 的 traditional 还是非常非常好的。我刚才那个例子举的就是你的收入越高，越要考虑这个事情。还有一个就是你从什么时候开始存。如果你今年40多岁，你还从来没有存过，你可能也没有这个问题。所以一定要看每个人的情况才是可以给你，而且我都不会是看了你的情况就随便说一个数字，我会计算给你看你的情况会是怎么样的，好吗？Joyce.
That's your question, I think. Tax.
I do not agree, Joyce. Even the tax rate is the same. Your base is much bigger, right? So if you say you put away, let's say $10,000 into a 401k today, your tax bracket is 24%, you are saving $2,400 in tax. But that $10,000 in 10, 20, 30 years is going to be much more than $10,000, right? Because of the compound of interest. So you will have 20, 30, 40, even $50,000. So your base is much higher. Even if you're paying that same tax rate, your tax is much higher. So I do not agree with you. Okay, next one.
6,000 401 is pre-tax money. 6,000 IUL is after-tax money.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying, but I already showed you the tax you saved. You end up paying double the tax back to the government. Did you not see that slide? Can we show Deepo that slide? Can someone show up that slide? How much tax you save and how much tax you actually end up paying?
Yeah.
Right? No, not this slide. You have to go back a little bit. I think the tax you saved over the years is only like 200,000. You end up paying much more. That's why we didn't even talk about that. Okay. Yeah, that's the one. Right? Deepo, did you see that? So over the 37 years that you were working and putting away money in 401k, you saved about $100,000 tax. And the future value of these $100,000 is $200,000. So from the time you look at it when you're 67, you save $200,000 in tax. Great. But guess what? You got to pay back the government like $400,000 in tax. So you're not saving tax. That's why we're not comparing. Okay. IUL 投资必须是不是 Richard IUL 投资需要必须67岁之后才能拿出来吗？不是的，刚才 Ron 已经讲了 ，You can take it out anytime。这是 IUL 比401k 更好的。401k 你59岁半就可以开始拿了，你59岁半之前拿，除了交税，还要再交那个什么？你还要再交，除了交税还要交罚款。59岁半以后就不用交罚款。 But IUL 你可以任何时间拿出来，但这个任何时间大家也要注意了。如果你才付了1年，你开始拿钱是没有东西可以拿了。一棵树先要把它养大了，才可以结果子，对不对 ？Benson 你好，哇 ，Benson 你今天又来了，谢谢。请问人寿保险是否有什么风险或缺点是什么？缺点，它的缺点就是，如果你年纪非常大的时候去买的话，有可能你的 cost of insurance 会很高很高，不一定非常合适你。给一个很好的例子，我有个客人这2天来找我，他72岁，他有一笔钱想放在一个投资的产品里，他问我是年金更好还是人寿保险更好？那肯定是年金更好。他72岁了，对吧？那这个 cost 高的，所以的话就是这是越年轻的时候做越好的事情，而不是一个对每个人都非常合适的。当然还有一个缺点，其实不是它的一个产品的缺点更多的是一些卖保险的人卖错了。他比如叫你，就像刚才 Ron 解释的，为什么他们会有这么多的积累？因为他这个保险的设置就是为了做 tax free 的这个 growth， 而不是仅仅为了 death benefit。如果 Frank 和 Lena 当初买的时候找了一个不对的，或者说不懂保险的经济的话，他也是放500块钱，结果买了一个200万的保险，结果他所有的钱都去付保险了，没有任何的增值。等到过了30年，它里面可能还不够钱，这个就是最大的损失。所以我并不觉得保险本身有不好的地方，只是如果你买错了这个保险的话，是致命的，也是会到地狱里去的。我觉得就是你想去那个避税天堂，结果去了避税的地狱，因为你根本就没有钱在里面。所以这个是我其实看了很多人的保单，我大概是从2002年开始做保险，我看了很多人的保单，特别是年纪大的人，以前在80年代、90年代买的很多保单，都有很多的问题。第一个最大的问题就是 assume 的这个 investment 的 return 太高，有的人 assume 到10%几，这是不可能的。你看我们现在 run 做的都是6%左右的，是非常非常保守的。你这个 assume 的 rate 越高，你的保险看上去越漂亮，但是没有用的。我希望我解释清楚你的问题 ，Benson， 你永远可以 call me，OK？ Susan 也是我的 ，Susan is my client too. Regardless of, okay, I guess, backdoor, Susan. If your income is too high, it's backdoor. You can also call me. You're my tax client, yeah. And if we are over 50, we can do 7,000. Vicky. Very good. Inheritance tax. You're talking about estate tax, right? So in America, we call it estate tax. 就是遗产税，您是这个问题是吧 ，Vicky？OK， 这个遗产税的话呢，是不是所得税？所以这个里面不管你是 401k、Roth 这个东西就跟它没有关系。是如果我死的时候，我所有的资产，我的401k、我的 Roth IRA、我的 IUL 的这个 death benefit、我的房子、我的 business， 就所有的东西 evaluate 以后，我最后所有的钱，我跟我的老公2个人如果超过2000万以上的话，就开始有遗产税，而且遗产税是很高的税率。You know what? I'm gonna give you a little quiz, Ron. Sorry. Guess
quiz?
What's little pop quiz. What's the estate tax rate?
The rate right now?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think I know the rate. I think I know the levels. The combined levels is what do they bump into?
Okay. So after they hit that level, how much they pay estate tax? 10%, 20%, 5%?
I thought it was 50. I thought it was 50.
Yeah, you are very, very good. It's almost 50. 大家听了，这个遗产税的税率很高，很快的超过了这个限额以后，就是 almost I think it's 46%. 然后别忘了，州还有
I know.
And you also have state. 如果2个加起来的话，就超过50%。所以的话，遗产的规避的规划很重要。我今天没有讲这个，因为我觉得我们大部分的客人还是中产阶级吧，特别是现在遗产税的上限非常高。如果大家对这个话题非常有兴趣，我们以后可以专门做一个。对，遗产税上面有很多的误区。OK，Richard 当然合适，因为呢 IUL 你是跟保险公司签的一个合同 ，OK， 所以你将来人不管在哪里，这个所有的 benefit 都能享受。那么那个 death benefit 当然完全可以享受，你的受益人可以享受。如果你生前的也是可以享受的，连 long term care 都是可以享受的。 当然还有一个客人跟我说，如果我当中就回国，我付不起了怎么办？这没有付不起的事情，这个保单是可以做很多调整的。你什么时候不能付了，你可以把你的保的额度降低，这样就不用再付钱了。有很多很多的方法。Universal Life 是它是第一个真正的 flexible premium 的一个保单。这个产品的东西讲起来就没完没了。如果有兴趣，可以找我，也可以找 Ron， 我们俩都是有保险执照的。Okay, Susan, another question. Oh, this one already answered, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, next one, Vicky. This one we also talked. Okay, I skipped Richard. Sorry, Richard. Can someone help me archive the ones that we already talked about? Thank you. Paige. Okay, FSA max is 7K. As long as you have an okay. As long as you have, okay. First of all, it's not FSA. Can someone type? It's HSA, House Savings Account, not FSA. FSA is Flexible Spending Account. HSA is House Savings Account. So FSA, you can use it for a lot of things, like your kids' childcare, like your train card, right? Also medical expense. Every company is different. So that's completely different. But FSA has one really bad thing. You have to use it in the same year. If you don't, you lose the money. So, but HSA is 7,000 for a family and it rolls over indefinitely. So you definitely should do it. But there is a prerequisite. The prerequisite is you have to have an HSA compatible house insurance. 好吧? Lisa say, can we 当然能了，你可以慢慢的，但你要慢慢的做，因为你现在 401k 里面的钱都是没有交过税的，你拿出来付到这个人寿保险里去的时候，你要小心，你要交税，所以的话也要找你的 accountant 看一看你每年应该放多少，不要 trigger 到下一个税阶。孙海英
Tax for these two types of investments.
Okay, now I'm really lost.
Yeah.
Sun Haiying, please rephrase your question total because I don't know what other questions you asked. So can you please do that and we'll get back to you, okay? Susan.
Major points in converting IRA to backdoor Roth, fees, amounts.
There's no fees, right? Yeah, there's no fees, Susan.
No, there's no fees. We do this every week. Susan, reach out to me. Any questions converting, especially backdoor, IRAs from traditional to Roth. We do it every week. So just text me, email me. I can walk you through it.
Okay. Benson， 如果收入过高买了 RA 不能抵税，是否有其他的替代抵税的方式 ？Benson， 因为你是我的朋友，所以我可能就也说个笑话。我们今天一直在说的是，不要只想着今天抵税，更重要的是讲是今天把税交了，然后交了税的钱再去做投资，永远再不交税，因为将来要交的税更高，对吧？我们今天主题是这个，所以就是说，你如果真的想今天省税的话，有其他东西可以我知道你自己有你的 business， 对吧？如果可能的话，我有时候会说，就是说你投资一些地产，也许可以帮你省一点税，因为地产的这个租金的收入的话，是因为有折旧的话，会有一些就是怎么讲，可以帮你抵税的地方，这是一个，对吧？还有的话，小企业怎么抵税？哎 ，Benson 来听我们下一堂的那小企业如何抵税的这个 seminar。个人的话，一定要看你的税表，我会给你一些我个人的想法。你的事情是在我的 to do list 上面 ，Benson，OK， 这里就不赘述。但是我们今天讲座的这个主题是，今天把税交了，将来再也不用交税，因为将来的税率会高，而且当你的收入很高的话，你将来的税率应该是不会低，因为你会把所有的东西都变成要交税，包括 Social Security。好 ，Next one。I guess Ron, you can go on this one.
Which one's this one? This is
there is I think you should explain what it's.
Since there's an income cap for contributing to Roth IRAs every year, if we exceed the income cap, how can we contribute our money to a Roth IRA? Well, if that year, if you make too much money, it's going to stop you from putting money into a Roth IRA. The only way to get it back there is to do a backdoor Roth, right? To pay the taxes first, and then we convert it back into your Roth. That's one of the only ways to do it. Are there any other ways, Justine?
No, there's no other ways. Yeah, the backdoor Roth IRA. Yeah, just I really think if you don't know what's backdoor Roth IRA, can Google it or call Ron. Ron can set you up like this.
Reach out to me. Because a lot of my clients are very fortunate because they make they make a lot of money, so they can't qualify for a Roth IRA. So we help them backdoor into it, which is, it sounds really like complex.
Let's really do it before they close the back door. Okay.
It's true. Very true. Very true.
I'm not kidding. You've been talking about this for a while. Okay.
I know.
Yeah, I know.
So anyway, so reach out to me, text me. I can give you the whole scope of what's going on.
Okay. So Paige, I think you are really asking where can you buy the HSA, right? Because you cannot buy FSA. So if your question is HSA, you can go to any stock brokerage company to buy HSA. You can go to any bank to buy HSA. And your employer may already have a designated financial institution. If your employer doesn't have it, you can go anywhere. Vanguard, First American Bank. If you put in the bank, then you have interest. If you put into stocks, you go up and down with the market, right? That's going to be your choice.
Yep.
Vicky, very good. This is one of the tax planning strategy I use all the time. If this is the year you're not working, convert as much possible and calculate how much tax you pay. You may not have to pay tax, like you said. Let's say everyone has I don't know how you file tax. Let's say if you're single, you're filing tax, your standard deduction is like 12,000. I don't know, Ray, how much is it? 12,440 or something like that, right? Every year changes a little bit. So let's say if it's 12,400 for 2020, you can convert 12,440, whatever. Then you don't have to pay any tax because your amount is exactly just the standard deduction. And my oldest daughter actually just did that. 1 year she was in Spain, she didn't work, so she converted all the money she got from the pension, the 403b, when she worked at the public school. She had about $9,800. She only worked there for 2 years. So she converted everything into Roth that year without paying a penny in tax. I love it, Vicky. That is the tax strategy I use all the time. Holly 有回放，我们所有的讲座，我们到现在已经做了10几场了，都在我们公司的网站上。希望我们的小助手在那个 chat box 里面能不能写一写我们公司网站的地址，然后 Holly 你进去以后点那个就是说 previous webinar 就会有啊，而且因为你来参加了这个，你等会儿也会收到一个 email。Ray 他们是多少个小时会收到 email？
他们会需要对24小时左右，等到这个 recording process 好之后就会发给大家了。
对，你24小时你还会收到一个 email， 你也可以发给你们的朋友们，希望大家都发给朋友们，帮我们做一些小广告。好的 ，VZ。Oh, that's a good question for you, Ron.
Absolutely. VZ, under what types of circumstances the IUL may lapse? Well, number one, that's why you want to work with someone that he knows what he's doing and how that your advisor can structure the IUL correctly to make sure that it doesn't lapse. Because there's a cost of insurance in the IUL, you want to make sure that there's return streams coming in to make sure they cover that cost of insurance. So if we structure the IUL correctly, and this is very important, that's why you want to work with a professional that knows what he's doing, that it'll never happen. Odds of that happening are very, very, very slim, whereby, the return stream that's coming into, especially with an IUL where there's a zero floor, that there's a no market risk downside, that you can cover the cost of insurance going on. But if you work with a professional, that I can't guarantee it'll never happen, but near impossible that would happen. So VZ, reach out to me. I can show you actually number-wise and how that can occur.
Okay. All right. Yeah. You know, that's actually a really, really good question. IULs can lapse. Yeah. Yeah. If you do not put enough money in there. Yeah. So we are actually giving you guys an example of an overfunded, like we really funded, right? That's how, because we're looking for tax-free growth. So that's why Ron said how to design your IUL is a science. It's not yeah, it's really not like just, IUL is always good. No. If IUL lapse is really bad, you lose all the money you ever put in.
Absolutely.
Then you maybe better buy term and invest the rest, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. You have to understand what you're doing, which we do.
Exactly. 401k 放年金的钱要交税吗？这个问题不是很明白你什么意思 ，Lisa？ 什么叫401k 放年金的钱？我真的不理解你这个问题 ，Sorry， 不是说不想回答。因为首先你的意思是说 traditional 401k， 然后你是把这个 401k 放在年金里吗？还是什么意思？不懂，你能不能再问一遍，我才能回答你的问题啊？Bonnie。Wow, that's going to be tough, Bonnie. That's what FSA is tricky. If you don't use it, you lose it. Maybe you can hire a babysitter to watch your kids after school. How old are your kids? I don't know. If they are under 12, you know, after school is good, or you can take them to a babysitter, but you really have to report the babysitter's social security number and everything, and you have to report it on your tax, and your babysitter has to pay tax. So that's the only remedy I can think of right now. Yeah, that's another COVID problem. Is there any way I could spend the rest of the money to claim my dependent care expense? Yeah, I explained that to you. I think it's the same question, Bonnie. If you have more questions, you can just schedule time with me, okay? Sun Hai-Ying. The information is 401k will have big tax when we retire and withdraw the money. How about tax policy and situation for? I think you still kind of, I think Ron, you talked about this, right? So these two are platforms. They're not the type of retirement, right, Ron?
Correct.
TIIR, and it's almost like, should I buy an Apple computer from Best Buy or from Apple Store? It's the same thing, but it's two different providers. I think.
It's also the TIA CREF is generally what they use for 403bs, government sponsored programs. Fidelity is another retirement program. If they are not Roth based, if they are qualified traditional retirement accounts like an IRA, when you take distributions later on in life, you will have tax. And that's what the whole premise of tonight's webinar is. You have to be aware that if tax rates go up in the future, which I believe it is, you have to plan for it. You have to really plan for it, because what you think you're going to get when you retire might not be the same amount that you think.
Yeah, so it's not two types of retirement. It's two different platforms that providing retirement, different accounts. So if you say two type of retirement, one is pre-tax, one is after tax. I say one is traditional, one is Roth. Those are the two different types. So the Roth, when you take out, you don't pay tax. The traditional, you will have to pay tax when you take out.
Correct.
And I strongly suggest you to schedule time with me or Ron to go over this. So maybe we're just like, we're not hitting it right? We're hitting all the wrong spots. We're not really answering your question. Hey, 小杨, 你好. Okay, is the IUL pretty much standard under each insurance company? What do you mean by wrong IUL, wrong agent? Okay, let me, Ron, you can add on. Let me say something. Sure. It's not a wrong company or wrong agent. It's more like, to put it this way, you're buying the wrong product, or you design your product wrong. And whose fault is to design your product wrong? It's not your fault. It's your agent's fault. If your agents do not design your product according to what you want, do you want death benefit? What's your main thing? Is it long-term care? Is it tax-free growth? These different, purpose you would design the thing very differently. And like I said, universal life insurance is the flexible premium. So you should talk to your agent every year to make adjustment to your policy, right? You can't just be like, I'm making $1,000 a month and just forget about it, right? So We need to do annual reviews, and not wrong IUL, but there are companies out there, I don't know whether you agree with me, Ron, that have really hefty fees, and they bury it in their illustration that you do not see. And they also use very high assumptions to show beautiful numbers that will not happen.
Correct.
I do not want to name the name, but those companies are, selling. So basically, the company, the channels they sell, the people who sold you the policy, they're all very, very important. You want to make sure you get a good advisor. Like Ron and I think we're very good in designing IULs because we have a lot of experiences and we have very, very deep background in the financial world. We don't just got the license yesterday and try to sell you something we don't even understand. We understand it back and forth, inside and out, right, Ron? So you tell us what you want.
Absolutely.
We are not going to design a policy to give us the biggest commission check. We are going to design the policy to the best of your purpose, and you will be served right.
100%.
You want to add something? Mm-hmm.
No, I really think you have to work with a professional to understand what he's saying. There's certain key things in designing an IUL that's appropriate. I show all my clients what I designed for myself and my family. Once they see that, they're like, oh, okay. I'm very transparent. This is what I do for my family. So, yeah, ask me any questions, reach out, text me. I will show you what I do. Simple.
Okay, can I do both Roth and the Roth IRA and Roth? Yes, you can. If your company offers 401k and you can do Roth, you can do that to the maximum. Like I said, 19,500 or 26,000 if you're 50 and older like me. Or you can do, and then you can still do the Roth IRA. And if you make too much money, do backdoor. Okay. All right. Deepo. Okay, Deepo is coming back, still thinking life insurance is bad. So this is good. Ron, you go first. It's great discussion. And Deepo is our client too. Mm-hmm.
Your comparison between 401k, 6,000 a year versus IUL, 6,000 a year does not make sense, as one is pre-tax and one is after-tax money. And expensive insurance cost is not counted into IUL performance. Most life insurance policies, 80% plus, lapse because of costs, I believe. No, Debo, the illustration I showed you will include that cost of insurance into the calculations. Okay, that's why you have to work with someone that actually shows you the numbers that are realistic and not crazy. And you are right. A 401k, you're going to be putting in pre-tax dollars. In the IUL, you're putting after-tax dollars. But you still, at the end of the day, have to compare the tax. This is what Justine looked at, the tax implications at the end of the period when you start to withdraw money. Okay, I can show you different variables and show you all the numbers, all the transparencies of what's going on. Again, I was very anti life insurance many years ago. I have a ton of term insurance, but once I understood the metrics and the mechanics of the end result of creating tax-free income, then I started to really like certain life insurance policies, which is what I will share with you.
Okay, I'm gonna add some. Okay, I'm gonna add some. Deepo, sure. You have known me and my company for many years. You have come to our seminars before we had webinars, right? So I hope you believe that what I do is trying to benefit my clients, not just trying to benefit me. And why we keep talking about life insurance, because it is very, very good if you design it right and if you do it right. Insurance cost is included in Ron's illustration. He did not take out the insurance cost. But Correct. Remember, those people were very young when they started. They were 30, right? So the insurance Correct. Cost was very, very low. So if I'm 50, I go buy insurance, it's going to be much more expensive. And I don't have the time to grow the policy. So that's a different ballgame. There are different policies for older people. I just purchased one, like I told you guys. I purchased a guaranteed universal life. I have an index universal life I bought when I was younger, but I didn't have a long-term care rider at that time. So at this age, my biggest concern is not if I die, what my kids going to do. They are fine because they are grown-ups already. But I'm worried if I'm sick, what do I do? Do I want my kids to really drop what they do and come and help me? No. That's why I bought the guaranteed universal life with the long-term care rider. And I pay quite a bit for that, but it still will be good. So I will end up paying about $200,000 for $1 million benefit. And people say, why? You might have $1 million when you retire. Yeah, I will. I already have $1 million. But why would I put away $1 million just in case I need that, right? I only put $200,000 into this, and the other $800,000 I can enjoy myself. Okay, this is like going a little bit too far. But I think
it's planning.
Yeah, it's planning. And then another thing is, if I don't need it, my kids will get the whole $1 million. So that's why life insurance is good. It's leverages, okay? It leverages. 我记得以前有一个特别棒的一个，就是说美国爷爷和中国爷爷，我不知道我们能不能找到那张图，特别棒。就是中国爷爷存了一辈子的钱给孩子，然后第3代以后就没有了。美国爷爷100万里面用掉90万，只有10万买保险，但是就一代代都有钱，因为每一代都在买人寿保险。那个图特别有意思，我觉得。地波，如果你需要的话，可以来找我聊，或者找 Ron 去聊，因为你要相信我们讲的这个东西，但是我也一遍的要说，每个人的情况是不一样。如果地波你今天来找我买人寿保险，我不一定给你，我会跟你说，地波也许你是可以跟你的2个孩子买的，而不是跟你自己买，因为你可能错过了买人寿保险最好的时候。但是如果你想买长期护理是可以的，好吧？因为我跟你很熟，所以我就多讲一点啊，地波。Okay, Jennifer. Yes, you can. Please go listen to our, right, Ron? We did a kids Roth IRA. That's our first one, right? That's our first one.
Oh, it's great.
Yes. One in the series. Yes. Yeah. You definitely should do it. We are actually just setting up for someone. If you have a small business, you can start when the kids is 12, guys. If you don't own a business, if they have to work for someone else, I think it's 15. So way under 16, okay? And Ron's kids, my kids, they all have Roth IRA, and they started much earlier.
Absolutely.
And because they started much earlier.
I wish my father started a Roth. I wish my father started a Roth IRA for me.
Okay.
I wish.
Okay, the next one. Roth 的存款来源有限制吗？应该没有问题吧，周超，没有任何问题。You can, I don't think anyone's gonna 没有人会来查你这个钱是哪里来，不是1年才6000块钱嘛，对吧？你不用在 paycheck 里面做，你就自己用自己的存款做，1个月做500块钱就 OK 的啊。Vicky, okay. Ron, your question.
Which insurance company has the best IUL? Do you recommend whole life at all? How do you compare whole life versus IUL? Great question, Vicky. I don't use one insurance company. Okay, depending on the client and what their needs are and what they're looking for, that's why I always try to. I'm independent, so I can go to any different carriers and look at the products that's specifically designed for the client. And when I say that, there's certain products that are better for certain clients than others, but I always make sure the insurance companies are number one, high rated. Okay, they got to be double, triple A rated companies. Number 2, very financially secure companies. Number 3, companies that I know that I have a lot of connections into, a lot of contacts into. So I do a lot of due diligence to make sure the insurance companies are the best in the world. But there's not just one. There's probably 3 or 4 that I deal with. Do I recommend whole life at all? There's a place for whole life. There's definitely a place for whole life. I like IULs because of the fact that they have the indexing, which I love. Indexing, there's a strategy to it, and also indexing because they also have the guaranteed no risk, no market risk floor to it as well. So I've really gravitated to IULs for retirement purposes. I think IULs are very, very good for tax-free income that has zero risk. Whole life, it might fit into the overall plan as well. We have to look at it. But I honestly do a lot. I personally, for myself, my family, my brothers, I do a lot of IULs, a lot. If that answers the question. But Vicky, reach out to me. We can do a comparison. We can do a side-by-side whole life comparison with IULs. You can see the difference, and I can show you what I do for my family, and we can take it from there.
Okay, I guess next question is mine, Vivian. If your income is pretty high and you already have a lot in your 401k, then you should put more money into IUL. So you should just do the matching. But again, this is a very individual question. If I see your tax return, I will be able to tell you exactly what you should do. Without seeing your tax return, it's very, very difficult to see what's your tax bracket. If your tax bracket right now is at 37%, maybe you should put the whole $19,000 because you are saving much more money than the 24%, right? But also you have to see, are you going to work that 37 years or are you only going to work 10 years? And then you're going to retire much earlier. I have a lot of my younger clients now, they really want to, like when they hit 40 or 45, they want to do whatever they want. Maybe they will be working. Maybe they will have a startup. Maybe they will do non-for-profit. They may not want to work so much. So then the 401k is okay. You're not gonna explode your 401k. So you do not want too much money in your pre-tax. So the whole thing, like Ron said, you don't put all your money in one basket. Hopefully when you retire, you don't have all your nest egg in a pre-tax vehicle and the tax goes up. And then there is the bomb right now, right? The time bomb. 定时炸弹就爆炸了. This is what it's talking about. So again, I don't want to give you very general rules without knowing your situation. Vicky, again, there's another one. Okay, that's Ron's question.
How about your health grade? How much does it impact your return, death benefit? For the IUL, you do have to take a medical exam. These days, depending on which carrier we use, some of the carriers actually, you don't have to do a medical exam if you fit certain criterions. But if you're older and you have certain proclivities and you have not as good health, they will require you to do a medical exam. So it depends. So obviously, the healthier you are, the better. But I also see some clients that are not as, I don't want to say not as healthy, but not as premium, but they still get approved. So it's a process. These days though, because of technology and connection with your health provider, a lot of times I had 3 clients that didn't even have to take a medical exam because they fit that criterion. So again, Vicky, reach out to me, any questions. I can show you the whole kind of format, which we do.
Yeah, I want to add in some here. Ron, exactly right. So if you're healthy, you're young, you actually get your life insurance approved much faster now because of technology, because you have a clean bill of health, right? And yes, they don't even do a medical. But there is another side of it. Because of COVID, if you do have existing conditions, it's very difficult to get approved, right, Ron? Because of the COVID.
That's true.
So a lot of my applications right now is on hold is because they want the COVID to be over to reconsider this case. So what I say to people is always buy it when you don't need it. If you wait when you really need it, you might not get approved. So this is a great plan, but it's not a given, right? Because I've been doing this for 30 years. I've always preached life insurance. There are people wait until very late to come to me, and it'd be too late. And guess what? We only get sicker when we're older. I'm not trying to be I'm not trying to be the Debbie Downer.
I'm trying to be healthier, Justine. I'm trying to be healthier. You're scaring me.
Oh, really? You are? Okay, then you are the anomaly, Ron. Okay. Okay. Vivian. Oh, Vicky and Vivian, we should have some calls. You guys have a lot of great questions, right?
I buy additional life insurance with my employer, pay reduction with the death benefit 5 times. Oh,
we haven't read that question. Someone archived it. Vivian's question. Can you guys put it back? Thank you.
I buy additional life insurance with my employer, payroll deduction with a death benefit 5 times my salary. If I IUL, should I stop buying additional life insurance through payroll? Vivian, I'm assuming the life insurance that's with your employer is probably term insurance is my guess. I'd have to look at it. If it's term insurance and it gives you a great death benefit 5 times your salary, that might be enough to cover issues that if, God forbid, something happens to you, that your family is well taken care of, which is great. IUL, remember, IULs, from the context of what we're talking about today, it is not for specifically death benefit. It's specifically for growing capital tax-free for your retirement. That's what we're talking about IULs today. So for me personally, I have a ton of term insurance. I have a ton. I got married very young. I got married when I was 23 years old. I was very worried about I was young and stupid. I didn't know what to do. So I made sure I bought like a 30 or 40-year policy. So I have a ton of terms. It's true, Justine, this is very true. Because
So
I
you
didn't
were
know.
not young and you were not young and stupid. You were young and smart.
Well, I just figured that I don't want my young wife and my young children to have nothing, right? Because I had nothing at the time. So I bought really cheap term insurance. But as I went on and I understood that I want to develop, again, shifting assets, tax-free distribution, tax-free income. The IUL for me is not for life insurance. There is a death benefit, obviously, but IUL for me is to build my family bank, is to build a bank that I can have my family, myself, my kids to access tax-free. Does that make sense, Vivian? And I'll show you everything that I do.
Okay. I can also add on Vivian. So it's really about what's your total death benefit need that you have. And then if you buy enough of IUL already, you should not go buy those terms anymore, right? Do you really need it? That's the point. I mean, sure, it's good now. But let's say you make 200,000. So 5 times of your salary is $1 million. But if you bought $1 million IUL, I don't think you need to buy that again, right? Ron, makes sense? Because your payroll deduction, you're paying tax on it. You're still paying tax on. But if you think you need $2 million, then keep that $1 million and buy this $1 million, right? That's about your need.
It depends on, exactly. It depends on your individual.
Yeah, and it's not pre-tax. Your payroll deduction on the life insurance is never pre-tax.
Yeah, I probably made the mistake, Vivian, of putting too much life insurance on my head. I'm probably worth, more to my wife dead than alive. So if I pass away and I get hit by a train, Justine, make sure my wife doesn't start dating like a young Latin lover. It's the truth. I say it all the time, but
I think Anita is listening right now.
She might be. She might be yelling at me later, but that's the truth. I make sure. So anyway, so reach out to me if I can help you and clarify anything. Vivian, same thing. I have term insurance with my company. I have a lot of term, but I also have a lot of IULs for myself.
Okay. All right. So, I think we have the last question, 2 questions from Vicky. That's a really quite good question. Whether Ron and I do the same thing, right? Okay. So we are not exactly the same. So give you a little bit of a snapshot. So I am a tax accountant, right? I also do life insurance. We also sell real estate. Why? Because from a tax accountant point of view, I think buying real estate, buying life insurance are very good things tax strategy wise. So that's where I'm coming from. I'm more coming from a tax perspective why I can do all these things. I'm also a real estate broker. But Ron is, if I say it wrong, Ron, you can correct me. Ron is more a financial advisor. He's gonna look at your whole thing, your 401k later on if you want to go to traditional. He also manages money. They do bond ladder. They do a lot of fancy stuff to manage your money. So but also he does life insurance. So life insurance probably and annuity is the only 2 things we cross. I don't do any of those financial planning stuff. So I refer him my client because I know he's very good at what he's doing.
I've known Justine for, a long, long time. She actually helped me in one of my very first real estate transactions. This is a true story.
Yes,
and
it's a true
we've
story.
been friends together.
You were 22 and a strapping young man.
I was very young. But no, yes, my background is I've been at the Chicago Board of Trade for the last 30 years. So I've seen. I still see everything in the markets. I watch the markets. I'm very in tune with the markets. So I've seen everything from high risk to low risk, for everything in between. So anything financial, and I pretty much have a good feel for wealth planning, financial planning. My thing that I bring different to the table is that I can show you and share with you how really wealthy families at the Board of Trade manage their wealth and how they got there from poor to wealthy to continue to be wealthy. And that's kind of my thing. So yeah, reach out if I can help you in any way. Vicky, it'd be great.
And Vicky asked me, do we do tax planning for real estate investment? That's what I do for a living, Vicky. Yes, I do.
That's Justine.
Schedule an appointment. Yeah, that's so many. I have a huge proportion of my book of business are real estate investors. That's why we have a real estate department in my company. We even manage, properties for our investors. We do a lot. And I do have a lot of great tax strategies for real estate investors. Okay.
You think of other
probably
types of insurance. So variable life insurance, variable universal. Again, you have to look at the specific policies and what's involved and what the risk associated are. Variables have gotten a very bad rap over the last 5 to 10 years because of the fees involved and also exposure to markets, right? The thing about variable universal life versus index universal life, a lot of the variables, because you're in the market, you don't have the same zero market guarantee that, IULs have. So there's a little more risk, in my opinion, involved in variable universal life. Permanent life insurance is the umbrella of various life insurance that are cash value. If you want to go and diversify your investment portfolio, risk portfolio, take a little more risk, variable insurance, there may be some things that you want to look at. Remember, I'm a trader as well, so I trade different markets. So I look at all the risk spectrums. I have the buckets of capital that are secure for my family to make sure that there's guarantees, that there's retirement plans, that it's solid. But I also am a trader. I'm a manager and trader, so I also look at risk. I understand taking risk. I understand looking at markets. So as Justine knows, I trade, a lot during the day. So I have that perspective to bring to my clients. So again, VZ, if you have any questions on anything, I can show you kind of what I do, give you a little more clarity, give you more transparency. Reach out to me, no problem.
I think we made a record, Ron. This is our longest webinar.
Is it?
I think so. We've been doing almost for 2 hours.
Well, you know me, Justine.
Yeah.
if we talk about markets and trading, I can talk like for 5 days without water.
I think Ray has some closing remarks, and we really 我很感激大家看到了很多老顾客的名字，很开心，很怎么讲？really 心暖，是不是这么讲 ？warm my heart 。对，你们都过来听这些个，对我是很喜欢这样的讨论的，而且大家问了很好的问题，真的很开心。然后对王瑞，你来2个结束的那个 comment 吧，怎么样？
对，今天呢，就是也非常感谢大家非常踊跃的参与，还有给我们提出了这么好的问题。由于时间的关系呢，我们今天的讲座就到此结束了。那在最后给大家提醒一下，在这个税务上涨的这个预期下呢，还是希望大家能够提前做好相关的一些你的税务投资和退休规划。如果大家还有任何其他的问题的话，我们在屏幕上也给出了 Justine 和 Ron 的联系方式，大家可以通过邮箱或者电话来联系他们。我们在微信的公众号上面呢，也会发出很多相关的这个省税的干货文章，也欢迎大家可以关注我们的微信公众号，包括我们的 PPT 呢，最后我们也会上传到微信公众号上，大家发送 PPT 就可以获取了。那再次感谢各位参加今天的讲座，也祝大家能够身体健康。谢谢大家，谢谢。
好的，对的，谢谢大家啊！这就是也多关注我们，我们还会接下来做很多的 webinar， 跟大家探讨。好，谢谢王瑞 ，Thank you Ron for coming and for contributing great ideas.
I would say the last thing before we go, everyone should read the book and watch the movie. It really is, honestly. It's an eye-opener.
I start to think you are his agent. I'm kidding.
I'm kidding. I love it. So anyway,
I know.